a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Justin Timberlake. Justin Randall Timberlake is an American singer-songwriter, actor, dancer, and record producer. Born and raised in Tennessee, he appeared on the television shows Star Search and the all-new Mickey Mouse Club as a child. In the late 1990s, Timberlake rose to prominence as one of the two lead vocalists and youngest member of NSYNC, which eventually became one of the best-selling boy bands of all time. Timberlake began to adopt a more mature image as an artist with the release of his debut solo album, the R&B-focused Justified, which yielded the successful singles, Cry Me a River, and Rock Your Body, and earned his first 2 Grammy Awards. His critically acclaimed second album FutureSex/LoveSounds, characterized by its diversity in music genres, debuted atop the US Billboard 200 and produced the Hot 100 #1 singles, SexyBack, My Love, and What Goes Around, Comes Around. Established as a solo artist worldwide, his first 2 albums both exceeded sales of 10 million copies, and he continued producing records and collaborating with other artists. From 2008 through 2012, Timberlake focused on his acting career, effectively putting his music career on hiatus. He held starring roles in the films The Social Network, Bad Teacher, Friends with Benefits, and In Time. Timberlake resumed his music career in 2013 with his third and fourth albums The 2020 Experience and The 2020 Experience 2 of 2, exploring neo-soul styles, partly inspired by the expansive song structures of 1960s and 1970s rock. The former became the best-selling album of the year in the US with the largest sales week, and spawned the top 3 singles, Suit and Tie, and Mirrors, while the latter produced the top 10 song, Not a Bad Thing. For his live performances, including the eponymous concert tour for the albums, he began performing with his band The Tennessee Kids, composed by instrumentalists and dancers. Timberlake voiced the lead character in DreamWorks Animation's Trolls, whose soundtrack includes his 5th Billboard Hot 100 chart-topping single, Can't Stop the Feeling. His 5th studio album Man of the Woods became his 4th #1 album in the US. Throughout his solo career, Timberlake has sold over 32 million albums and 56 million singles globally, making him one of the world's best-selling music artists. Often cited as a pop icon, Timberlake is the recipient of numerous awards and accolades, including 10 Grammy Awards, 4 Emmy Awards, 3 Brit Awards, and 9 Billboard Music Awards. According to Billboard in 2017, he is the best-performing male soloist in the history of the mainstream top 40. Time named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2007 and 2013. His other ventures include record label Tenman Records, fashion label William Rast, and the restaurants Destino and Southern Hospitality. Early life. Justin Randall Timberlake was born on January 31, 1981 in Memphis, Tennessee, to Lynn Harless and Charles Randall Timberlake, a Baptist church choir director. Timberlake grew up in Shelby Forest, a small community between Memphis and Millington. He has 2 half-brothers, Jonathan and Stephen, from Charles' second marriage to Lisa Perry. His half-sister Laura Catherine died shortly after birth on May 12, 1997, and is mentioned in his acknowledgements in the album NSYNC as My Angel in Heaven. His family circle includes a number of musicians. His grandfather introduced him to music from country artists like Johnny Cash and Willie Nelson. Performing as a child, Timberlake sang country and gospel music. At the age of 11, he appeared on the television show Star Search, performing country songs as Justin Randall. By that time, he began listening to rhythm and blues musicians from the 1960s and 70s, such as Al Green, Stevie Wonder, and Marvin Gaye, and he had listening sessions with his father of studio albums by the Eagles and Bob Seger. In 1993 and 1994, he was a cast member in the Mickey Mouse Club, where his castmates included Future girlfriend and singer Britney Spears, Future tourmate Christina Aguilera, Future bandmate J.C. Chasez, and Future movie actors Ryan Gosling and Kerry Russell. Timberlake then recruited Shazay to be in an all-male singing group, organized by boy band manager Lou Pearlman, that eventually became NSYNC. 1995-2002, NSYNC. The boy band NSYNC formed in 1995, and began their career in 1996 in Europe. Timberlake and Shazay served as its two lead singers. In 1998, the group rose to prominence in the United States with the release of their self-titled debut studio album, which sold 11 million copies and included the hit single, "Tearin' Up My Heart." Their second album, No Strings Attached, sold 2.4 million copies in the first week, and included a #1 single, "It's Gonna Be Me." NSYNC's third album, Celebrity, was also financially successful. Upon the completion of the Celebrity Tour, the group went into hiatus in 2002. In its lifetime, NSYNC was internationally famous and performed at the Academy Awards, the Olympics, and the Super Bowl, as well as selling more than 70 million records worldwide, becoming the fifth best-selling boy band in history. In late 1999, Timberlake appeared in the Disney Channel movie Model Behavior. He played Jason Sharp, a model who falls in love with a waitress after mistaking her for another model. It was released on March 12, 2000. The rise of his own stardom and the general decline in the popularity of boy bands led to the dissolution of NSYNC. Band member Lance Bass was openly critical of Timberlake's actions in his memoir Out of Sync. By 2002, when the group went on a hiatus and members were following individual projects, he partnered with Pharrell Williams of the producing team The Neptunes and Timbaland to start working in new music. The idea of going solo was strengthened a year earlier. Timberlake originally wrote the single, Gone, around 2001 for Michael Jackson, but he turned the song down, and was instead recorded by NSYNC. After released, however, Jackson contacted him. Timberlake declared in a later interview that the first time he felt confident to go solo happened after that conversation. 2002-2004, Justified and Super Bowl 38. In August 2002, Timberlake performed at the 2002 MTV Video Music Awards, where he premiered his debut solo single, Like I Love You. It peaked at number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 2 on the UK Singles Chart. His debut solo studio album Justified was released in November and debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 with first week sales of 439,000 copies, fewer than previous NSYNC releases. It went on to sell over 3 million copies in the US and more than 10 million copies worldwide. Its R&B influence, provided by hip-hop producers The Neptunes and Timbaland, was complimented by music critics. About the musical direction of the record, he commented, "I just want to do R&B, it's what I grew up listening to." The album spawned the top 5 singles, Cry Me a River, and Rock Your Body. In summer 2003, Timberlake and Christina Aguilera headlined the Justified/Strip Tour. Later that year he recorded a song, I'm Loving It, used by McDonald's as the theme to its I'm Loving It campaign. The deal with McDonald's earned Timberlake an estimated $6 million. A tour titled Justified and Loving It Live was included with the deal. Following his initial Justified World Tour, Timberlake was featured on Nelly's song, Work It, which was remixed and included on Nelly's 2003 remix album. Near the end of 2002, Timberlake was the first celebrity to appear on Punk'd, a candid camera type show created by Ashton Kutcher to trick celebrities. Timberlake, who cried during the episode, later admitted to being under the influence of cannabis when he was pranked. 3 episodes later, he set up Kelly Osbourne to be punked, thus making him the first celebrity to appear on the show more than once. Timberlake later spoofed Ashton Kutcher and punked in a 2003 episode of NBC's Saturday Night Live. Timberlake co-starred in a skit titled The Barry Gibb Talk Show alongside comedian Jimmy Fallon, where the duo portrayed Bee Gees brothers Barry and Robin Gibb. It marked the beginning of a long-running friendship and collaboration with Fallon. In February 2004, during the halftime show of the Super Bowl 38 broadcast on the CBS television network from Houston, Timberlake performed with Janet Jackson before a television audience of more than 140 million viewers. At the end of the performance, as the song drew to a close, Timberlake tore off a part of Jackson's black leather costume in a costume reveal meant to accompany a portion of the song lyrics. Jackson's representative explained Timberlake intended to pull away the rubber bustier to reveal a red lace bra. The garment collapsed and her breast was accidentally revealed. Part of the costume detached, and Jackson's breast was briefly exposed. Timberlake apologized for the incident, stating he was sorry that anyone was offended by the wardrobe malfunction during the halftime performance of the Super Bowl. The phrase, wardrobe malfunction, has since been used by the media to refer to the incident and has entered pop culture. Timberlake and Jackson were threatened with exclusion from the 2004 Grammy Awards unless they agreed to apologize on screen at the event. Timberlake attended and issued a scripted apology when accepting the first of 2 Grammy Awards he received that night. He had also been nominated for Album of the Year for Justified and Record of the Year along with Best Rap/Sung Collaboration for Where Is the Love with the Black Eyed Peas. 2008-2012 Musical Hiatus and Focus on Acting. The song, 4 Minutes, was first played by Timbaland at Philadelphia's Jingle Ball on December 17, 2007. When released on March 17, 2008, 4 Minutes was revealed to be a duet between Timberlake and Madonna, with backing vocals by Timbaland. It was lead single from Madonna's 11th studio album Hard Candy, which featured 4 other songwriting collaborations with Timberlake, being also one of the executive producers. The single was an international hit, topping the charts in over 21 countries worldwide. Timberlake also appears in the music video, which was directed by Jonas and Francois. On March 30, 2008, Timberlake performed the song at Madonna's Hard Candy promo show at Roseland Ballroom in New York City. On November 6, 2008, Timberlake performed the song with Madonna on the Los Angeles stop of her Sticky and Sweet tour. In June 2007, Timberlake co-wrote, produced and provided vocals for the songs Night Runner and Falling Down for Duran Duran's album Red Carpet Massacre, released on November 13, 2007. Falling Down had been released as a single in the UK on the previous day. Also in 2007, Timberlake made an appearance on 50 Cent's third album, Curtis. Timberlake, along with Timbaland, is featured on a track called Your Technology, which was the album's 4th single. Also, another possible collaboration was to occur with Lil Wayne for his album The Carter 3 with Nelly Furtado and Timbaland. With the wrapping up of the FutureSex/LoveSounds tour of Australasia and the Middle East in November 2007, Timberlake resumed his film career. Projects underway early in 2008 were starring roles in Mike Myers' comedy The Love Guru and Mike Meredith's drama The Open Road. In March 2008 it was announced that he was to be an executive producer in an American adaptation of the hit Peruvian comedy My Problem with Women for NBC. On November 20, 2008, TV Guide reported that Timberlake's next single, Follow My Lead, which also featured vocals by Timberlake's protege, former YouTube star Esme Denters, would be available for exclusive download through MySpace. All proceeds would go to Shriners Hospitals for Children, a charity dedicated to improving pediatric care for sick children. In February 2008, Timberlake was awarded 2 Grammy Awards. At the 50th Grammy Awards ceremony, he won the award for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance for What Goes Around Comes Around, and the award for Best Dance Recording for Love Stones/I Think She Knows. In 2008, a collaboration between Timberlake and T.I., Dead and Gone, featured on T.I.'s 6th studio album, Paper Trail, and was released as its 4th single late in 2009. In November 2008, it was confirmed that Timberlake would make a guest appearance and produce some tracks on R&B/pop singer Kira's upcoming album Fantasy Ride due out May 5, 2009. Timberlake featured on Kira's second single, Love Sex Magic, the video being shot on February 20, 2009. The single became a worldwide hit, reaching the top 10 in numerous countries and peaking at number 1 in several countries including Taiwan, India, and Turkey. The song was nominated for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals at the 52nd Grammy Awards. Timberlake hosted the 16th Aspire Awards, which musical number, I Love Sports, was later nominated for an Emmy Award. Timberlake and his production team The Wise, along with Mike Elizondo, produced and co-wrote the song, Don't Let Me Down, for Leona Lewis' second studio album, Echo, released on November 17, 2009. Timberlake also co-wrote and performed on Carry Out, the third single from Timbaland's album Shock Value 2, released on December 1, 2009. Timberlake appeared on Jimmy Fallon's debut as host of Late Night with Jimmy Fallon on March 2, 2009. Timberlake was the executive producer on the MTV reality series The Phone, which premiered on April 21, 2009. In late 2009, Barbadian singer Rihanna released the album Rated R, with Timberlake being one of the writers and producers. They both worked together previously for her third studio album Good Girl Gone Bad. From 2010, Timberlake increased his acting work. He played Sean Parker, the founder of Napster, in the acclaimed film The Social Network. He also appeared at the 2010 MTV VMAs on September 12, 2010. In 2011, he starred alongside Cameron Diaz in Bad Teacher and then alongside Mila Kunis in Friends with Benefits, and played Will Salas, the protagonist of In Time, a science fiction film by Andrew Niccol. He provided a feature and appeared in the music video for the song Mother Lover from the Lonely Island's second album Turtleneck and Chain, and directed and made a cameo in the Free Soul music video, Hoodies On, Hats Low, which was released in August 2011. The Late Night with Jimmy Fallon sketch, History of Rap, was performed for the first time by both Fallon and Timberlake in 2010. In July 2011, United States Marine Kelsey DeSantis uploaded a YouTube video asking Timberlake to be her date to the United States Marine Corps birthday ball. They attended the event on November 13, 2011 in Richmond, Virginia. His fifth Saturday Night Live episode, as host and musical guest, was the most watched episode since January 7, 2012, with Charles Barkley as host and Kelly Clarkson as musical guest. 2013, 2017, The 2020 Experience, 2 of 2, and Trolls. Timberlake began work on his third studio album The 2020 Experience in June 2012, with no rules and/or end goal in mind. He publicly announced his return to the music industry in January 2013, releasing the album's lead single, Suit and Tie, featuring Jay-Z later that month, which would eventually peak at number 3 on a Billboard Hot 100. After 4 years not performing in concert, Timberlake appeared the night before the 2013 Super Bowl and performed during the DirecTV Super Saturday Night, on February 2, 2013 in New Orleans. On February 10, 2013, he performed Suit and Tie with sepia-toned lighting at the 55th Annual Grammy Awards, with Jay-Z joining him from the audience. On February 11, 2013, Mirrors was released as the second single from the 2020 Experience. The song would eventually peak at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the UK singles chart. The 2020 Experience was released on March 19, 2013 through RCA Records due to the disbandment of Jive Records. The album set a digital sales record for being the fastest-selling album on the iTunes Store and debuted at number 1 on the charts by moving just over 968,000 copies in the US, the biggest sales week of 2013. It eventually became the best-selling album of the year in the country. Timberlake performed at the In Performance at the White House Memphis Soul concert, held in the East Room of the White House and hosted by President Barack Obama, celebrating Memphis soul music from the 1960s. Afterward, Timberlake officially announced the 2020 Experience World Tour, following his and Jay-Z's co-headlining concert tour Legends of the Summer Stadium Tour. Timberlake also appeared on Jay-Z's 12th studio album Magna Carta. Holy Grail on 3 songs, Holy Grail, BBC, and Heaven. On August 25, 2013, Timberlake received the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award at the 2013 MTV Video Music Awards. He also took home 3 competitive awards, including Video of the Year for Mirrors. Timberlake's 4th studio album, The 2020 Experience 2 of 2, was released on September 30, 2013 and debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Its lead single, Take Back the Night, was released on July 12, 2013. Following by the second single, TKO, Timberlake was given a production and writing credit on track 6 on Beyoncé's self-titled 5th studio album, which was released in December 2013. At the 57th Annual Grammy Awards, Timberlake was nominated for 7 awards, eventually winning 3: Best R&B Song for Pusha Love Girl, Best Rap/Sung Collaboration for Holy Grail, and Best Music Video for Suit and Tie, which was directed by the Social Network director David Fincher. On February 25, 2014, Not a Bad Thing was released as the 3rd single from the 2020 Experience 2 of 2. The song reached the top 10 on the Hot 100 and topped the mainstream top 40 chart. In 2014, Timberlake appeared on Michael Jackson's second posthumous record Escape on the song Love Never Felt So Good, which was produced by Timbaland, Jerome, J-Rock, Harmon, and Timberlake. On May 14, 2014, a music video was also released featuring clips of Jackson, with Timberlake accompanied by a number of Jackson's fans performing some of Jackson's signature moves. The video was directed by Timberlake and Rich Lee. During 2015, Timberlake performed along with Jimmy Fallon the Saturday Night Live 40th Anniversary's Cold Open. Returned to The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon as a guest to perform a 6th edition of the sketch, History of Rap, and performed along with Chris Stapleton at the Country Music Association Awards, showcasing the final date of the 2020 Experience World Tour at Las Vegas' MGM Grand Garden Arena. The Space Age-themed concert film titled Justin Timberlake plus the Tennessee Kids, and directed by Jonathan Demme, premiered at the 2016 Toronto International Film Festival on September 13. Timberlake dedicated the film to Prince for influencing his music ahead of its debut at the film festival. The streaming service Netflix released it on October 12. Timberlake composed the soundtrack and served as music supervisor for the 2017 film The Book of Love, which his wife Jessica Biel produced and starred in. Timberlake voiced the lead character in DreamWorks Animation's musical comedy Trolls opposite Anna Kendrick. The film was released in November 2016, and will return for its sequel Trolls 2 in 2020. He also served as the executive music producer, performing original music for the film. The lead single, Can't Stop the Feeling, was released on May 6, 2016. Timberlake was invited by Swedish broadcaster Sveriges Television to perform Can't Stop the Feeling live during the interval act at the grand finale of the Eurovision Song Contest 2016 on May 14, 2016. The single debuted at number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and reached the top spot in other 16 countries. It became his 8th US mainstream top 40 number 1 song, at the moment being the most among male artists. It became the best-selling song of the year in the US with 2.4 million copies sold. On February 26, 2017, Timberlake opened the 89th Academy Awards with a performance of Can't Stop the Feeling, since the song earned him a nomination. Also that year, Timberlake starred with Kate Winslet and Juno Temple in Woody Allen's drama film Wonder Wheel, and headlined several festivals and live sets, including Rock in Rio, United States Grand Prix, and the Pilgrimage Music and Cultural Festival, which he co-produced. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?